Let's do this problem where we've got division of fractions. When we have division of fractions, you might be tempted to do what some people forget, and they immediately start cancelling. Because it's a division, you really cannot cancel yet. You only look for cancellations when there's a multiplication between fractions. In this case, it's a division, so we can't start cancelling yet. When we're dividing by a fraction, so we've got, forget about that number, that's not as important. The important thing is this number here. When we divide by a fraction, the rule is you multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. What does that mean? Let's have a look. So that means 2/3, instead of writing divided by 3/21, you actually multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal means I turn it upside down. So it becomes multiplied by 21/3. So this is what you do whenever you see a division and a fraction. So when you divide by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by the inverse, the reciprocal of the fraction. So you put whatever was on the bottom, you put it on top. Whatever was on top, you put it on the bottom. Now we're ready to go. And look, we've got a multiplication. Because we're multiplying fractions, we straight away look for numbers where we can cancel. Is there a number on top that I can cancel with a number on the bottom? In this case, the only two numbers that we can cancel on the bottom, I can use this one with that one, the 3 and the 21 that way. 3 into 21 goes 7 times. Or I could use it, go that way. So I can choose which way I want to go. I can go 3 into 21 that way, or 3 into 21 that way. But I can't do both. It's either one or the other. So let's do it this way because that's quicker and easier. They're directly on top of each other. 3 into 3 goes once. 3 into 21 goes 7 times. There are no other. I'll have a quick look. Any other numbers I can cancel? There are no other numbers I can cancel. So now I can write my answer. I now can multiply the top with the top and the bottom with the bottom. 2 times 7 is 14. Divided by 3 times 1 is 3. This is an improper fraction. We don't leave it like that. We've got to change an improper fraction into mixed numbers. 3 into 14, well that goes 4 times. 3 fours are 12. 14 take away 12 leaves me a remainder of 2. So that's 2/3. So the number that's on the bottom becomes the number that's on the bottom of my fraction. So 14 on 3 is actually equal to 4 2/3. And that's my answer. Okay, let's have a look at this problem where we've got mixed numbers divided by each other and a negative there. How do we do this? So, whenever we've got division with mixed numbers, like with multiplication, the first thing you do with the mixed numbers is you change them to improper fractions. That's the first rule. So let's change them into improper fractions. How do we change 4 8/10 into an improper fraction? Well, you multiply 10 by 4, then you add the 8. So 10 times 4 is 40, plus 8, that's going to be 48/10. Divided by, let's change that. Let's not forget the minus. Okay, now let's change it. So that's going to be 5 times 2, which is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So that's going to be 12/5. Now we've changed everything into improper fractions. Let's continue. What do we do now? Well, remember what we do whenever you divide by a fraction. We've got to multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction. So let's do that. 48/10. We only do it for the fraction that comes after the division. We don't touch the number that's before the division. So that still gets written the same. So that's 48/10. Now we do multiply. The sign is not going to change. The only thing that's going to change is that we're going to write the reciprocal of my fraction, which means the number on the bottom is going to be written on the top, and the one on top we rewrite on the bottom. So now I've got everything ready to go, and it's a minus. So when you have, remember, what's the sign of this one? This is actually a plus, isn't it? So that's like saying a plus number multiplied by a negative number. So it's a positive times a negative. And remember from our rules, a positive times a negative, that's equal to a negative, isn't it? Remember with the rules, when you have a positive, times a negative, you get a negative. The same as when you have a negative times a positive, that also gives you a negative. So when the signs are mixed or they're not the same, when the signs are different and you multiply them together, you get a negative. But if the signs are the same and they're multiplied together, so you got a plus times a plus or a minus times a minus, both of these give us a positive answer. So back on our question here, or our problem, we have now a positive multiplied by a negative. That's a positive multiplied by a negative. My answer is going, a positive multiplied by a negative. My answer is going to be a negative. So over here, I now put straight away my answer as being a negative. Why did I do that? You always do your signs first. When you do your signs first, that means you'll never forget about it. If you leave your sign to the end, you'll do the mathematics, you'll solve the problem, but you'll forget about the sign. Always do the sign of your problem, do it first. So a positive times a negative gives us a negative. Now we can forget about the signs. Now let's just do the mathematics. Now we look at the numbers. Remember what we said. When you're ever multiplying fractions together, we're looking for numbers on top that we can cancel with numbers on the bottom. Any number on top, you can see that you can cancel with a number on the bottom. Well, I can see a 5 and a 10. The 5 goes into 5 goes once. The 5 goes into the 10 goes twice. That's good. Any other numbers? I can see a 12 and a 48. The 12 goes into 48. So 12 into 12 goes once. The 12 into 48 goes 4 times. Any more numbers? Well, I've got the 1 here. I've got a 1 there. So there's nothing more I can do with these two. But I've got a 2 and a 4 there. These can cancel further. So I can say now 2 into 2 goes once. 2 into 4 there goes twice. See that? You can actually do the cancellation. You can keep going until there's no more cancellations at all. So that's 2, 1, 1 and 1. There's nothing more I can do. Let's now multiply the top together. 2 times 1 is going to give me 2 on top. 1 times 1 is going to give me 1 on the bottom. So this is my answer. So I can actually clean it up by writing -2 as my answer, and it's finished.